All right, I saw cake on the porch, so I'm gonna run and grab it. You run that way, I'll run the other way. Let's go. Another year has passed and there's another update of permanent outdoor lights. So if you put some on last year, that's fine, keep those, but maybe many of you haven't done that yet. These are some awesome updates. So these are the eufy permanent outdoor lights S4. These have some huge updates. Thank you to eufy for sponsoring this video. Some of the big things is it does have the ability to cut. So you can easily customize this to exactly what you want your home to be. They are now also closer together. So you're gonna have more bright, vibrant home. And then the lights spread a lot more and they have more rich color. You can go from 15,000 to 9,000 K in the color profile. And then they have a radar sensor that attaches to this inside of the box. So if you come to home, it can automatically turn on the lights, or in the middle of the night, if you want it to be red and alert intruders, you can do that as well. So tons to talk about. Let's get this unboxed, quickly test them out, and then get them put on the roof. Now, first I want to mention that these have a 55,000 hour lifespan. So if you were to have these on every single day for the next 30 years, that is how long 55,000 hours is going to be. So they're going to last a long time. Now, they've also improved the lighting technology that they have in here. So they can go from 1500 to 9000 Kelvin. So that means the whites can go very orange to very warm, which is great. Now they're also using a new LED system where it's 3 times brighter, as well as it's using 16-bit colors. So you're going to see a lot more bright and vibrant colors in this new model. And here is everything we have in the box. So starting off, we have the power cable that's 4 feet long. Next, you have the Wi-Fi module. So that is a 13'6" cable. If you need more room between the lights and the Wi-Fi module, you have another extension cable, which is going to be about 8'4" that's going to extend it. We're going to be using that today. So here we have 6 strands of lights and they are 15'6" each. Now that equates to 100 feet, or you could also get the 150-foot model or the 200-foot model, and that's going to be 30, 60, or 90 meters. Then over here, we do have a 11-foot extension. So if you want to go from a lower level to a higher level, you can use that. So here we have the splicing cable. So if you want to cut an end and then start another end sooner, you have one of each of those. Here we have the radar module as well as the attachment there. There are some cards to help you line up the distance against the house, as well as a radar card. There's some extra clips here, as well as some other clips to help you align them around corners, and a bunch of screws, and then some silicone to secure the end there to make them waterproof. Now let's talk about the actual light here. So as you can see, it is a little bit thicker this time, and what they're doing here is they have this attachment. Now this is pretty cool because it allows you to easily attach this to your home just by putting a screw right in there and securing it. The adhesive will last quite a while, but it's nice to screw them in. This way you don't have to go and buy extra attachments, or you don't have to 3D print some like I've done in the past. It's all built right in there. Now, some of the other benefits is you can easily align these. So if you attach one of these and maybe you found out you were one off, you can realign your whole string of lights just by taking them off and aligning them. And then I also like this, maybe you had a warranty for some reason, you could easily pull them off and put them back on without having to redo all the adhesive, which is really awesome. But the trade-offs there is it did become a little bit thicker than previous models that I've seen. Then here on the cable on the back, you can see it has the different colors. So that is where you can cut, and you would connect the blue to the blue on the other connection, or yellow to yellow, red to red. So you can do all that through the splicer. So here you can see inside the splice, that is where you would put those. So you would slide this on first after your cut. Then you would put this on, just making sure that the screws line up the correct way for whatever direction you're going. And here we have some positioning cards for the radar, as well as positioning the lights. So you have 5 or 10 centimeters, 2 to 4 inches. So I'm going to go with around 4 inches to 5 inches today. Before I get these put up on the home, I'm going to connect them in the app, make sure everything's working. So this is going to use the eufy security app. So we're going to tap open, then I'm going to add a new device. And then you have lights down here, and then permanent outdoor lights. Now, the version I have isn't showing up, so I'm going to tap the scan QR code. And then on the back of the box, I'm going to scan the QR code. Next, we're going to add it into my home. They are plugged in. Over on the lights, I'm going to hold down on the Wi-Fi module for 3 seconds until they start pulsing. And you want to allow for location. You can have it turn on and off the lights and things like that, and allow for nearby devices. And now we're going to connect them to Wi-Fi. And as soon as it connected, it then lit up all the string of lights. At first, only a few were lighting up, so get it connected. Then once it's added, that will work. And here it's asking where you want them, what the name of them is. So we're gonna do the front yard, we're gonna put them on the eaves. Then we're gonna go through the process to update. Then we'll be able to control them in the app. That has complete, and now it's giving us some reminders for the installation. You wanna take some of the extra adhesives with you, the screws, bring an alcohol wipe to clean off the eaves before you put on the lights. Don't do this on rainy days. And then you want to make sure that the power is able to reach the first light where you're going to start running the lights. And then as I'm going around, I'm going to use the spacer. I might even make my own to be able to get them all the same distance away from the home. And you will see a Matter pop up. You can just cancel that for now, or you can add it into Matter. Now here it says remove the bracket and then get that installed. I would install it with the bracket so you can get the proper spacing. And then you can slide it off, screw in the hole, move on to the next. And if you made any adjustments to the lights here, it's calculating if there were any changes. And now we can go in and we can easily turn them on and off. We have brightness that we can easily adjust. These get very bright. And then we have tons of different scenes and things that we'll talk about later. Now next we're going to add the radar. So it just goes in between two of the strands, and then it has a little cord here where it comes down, and you also have this little bracket so you can mount it. Here it says it needs to go up this way, but you could also mount it at an angle if you want to. So here on the back, we're gonna hold down the sync button until the front light starts turning blue. And in the app, you have motion control. So we're going to add the sensor here. And once we've turned the light blue, now it's going to add the device, connect it to our network. It has now been added, and we're gonna update again. It connected to Wi-Fi and we did an update. Now it's asking if we want to mount it on the wall or on the eave mounting. So let's go ahead and do eave mounting. Here is all the things you need. And here it tells us where we need to put it. We need a height of about 8 feet to 13 feet. And then we're going to connect it. And so then whenever somebody comes to the house entrance, it will be able to illuminate the lights because it can see them. For the wall mounting, you would want to have it the same 8 foot to 13 foot. And so you want this main part being able to see whatever you see. It's going to be angled down to be able to see any objects that are in front of it. Now the really cool thing about this radar is it isn't a simple motion sensor where it detects if you come in front of it and then it turns off later. This actually can detect the distance you are away from it as well as the angle you're at. So it has a 120-degree viewing angle. So if you're on the right or left or in the middle, it will know. And then it can see 12 meters away. So if you're right up next to it or further away, and then you can choose how close you are to it in which it's going to turn on the lights for when it detects you, which is really cool. More on that later. Now when I'm choosing my spacing, the further away, the less light you're gonna see. So here they recommend between 0 and 10 centimeters. So there you can see there's a tiny bit of white left on this top trim. If I don't want it to be on the top trim, I'm gonna have to go out to about 5 or 6 inches there, but that would help illuminate the walls more, or you can bring it right up here and have the trim illuminated there. Now, if you're wondering if you should screw them in, well, here's some of the lights I put up 2 years ago, and I didn't use any screws, only in some places, but there you can see one of them has already fallen down. So the other ones are holding it into place, but definitely put the screws in each of them so you don't have one that's hanging like this, so that they're all secured and look nice on the home for a very long time. Now, this home also had some housework done, so these could have fallen down from that, but this is what happens when you only use the adhesive. I did secure this with some clips in some other places. I would recommend securing them with the screw forever. Now that I have my spacing away from the house planned out, I'm going to next use some rubbing alcohol to clean the soffit off. And then I'm going to make a plan for how I'm going to run this first light from the power. So you'll have to do that on your own, but then I'm going to start installing the lights. Now I'm going to grab my spacing card, line up the light. Once I'm ready, I'm going to peel off the adhesive and press down for about 10 seconds to really adhere that to the soffit. Then you can simply slide off the light and put a screw in it for a permanent installation. So simple. Love how clean this is. There's no other bracket or anything that I need to hold on to and raise up. Then I'm going to move on to the next light. Now for the next light, I will need to pull tight, but you can't pull too tight or the first one will come off. So you have to find a balance there. And then I also make sure that I don't have the cord twisted. So the cord from the previous light to the next light is the same orientation. And then I'm going to push that one down as well. And there I did pop off the first light so I can easily put it back into place, tighten that wire up. And now I'm going to put on the first one that I skipped just to make sure everything was aligned to the wall. And then I'm going to fill in the rest back to the power cord. Now that I have my beginning started, I'm just going to keep going down the line and getting these all installed. Now to up the speed of this, you can create a template for your light. Here I've made a little cardboard cutout where the light's gonna go spaced evenly. No matter which way I put this template up, it's going to be correct. So I can make it all look good. And now I can quickly go across the rest of the home. This is where I think I want to add the radar. I want to have it mounted somewhere over here. You can put the mount on either direction. I do need like another 2 feet or so to where exactly I want to mount it, but we're going to try it right here first. Now, one thing I want to do is keep the spacing of the lights, because if you don't, or if you add the radar, so let's say those are up, I want to add the radar, the spacing is going to be very extended between the lights. So is what I did is I have the radar extender here, took off the last light, put on my next strand of light on that clip, and then I put on the next light. So all the spacing is good. And now I'm gonna put that back where they go. So that's kind of the nice part about the spacing clips, is I can use them that way. I'm gonna take the spacer that is extra now and put it on the upcoming one. And now I'm gonna put that on there. So now is what I've done is I have kept the light spacing, which looks really good, but now I have added a little extra room to extend the radar. So this doesn't look the best. You know, I could do some things to have it line up like that or something, but I really like that the lights are now spaced evenly. And this even gives me some extension for where I might want to put the radar. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to keep going and we'll play with the radar a little bit more once I'm done with the lights. Now, one of my main tips that I have is dealing with peaks. So before you do any of the lights on the peaks, you would want to just stretch out a line. And the best part is with the clips that are able to move, this is super easy because you can realign them very easily later. But you choose if you want to have it even with like this, or have one at the top of the peak. So just kind of preference. I think this one I might just do one on each side. I guess this template doesn't quite work, but is what you could do is make a template where it goes the other way, and then halfway through the line, it touches. So then you would line that up to the very center, and then you would put the template on and push it in. Right now, we're just going to do our best to make them even, maybe like this, so that they're both evenly spaced on each side, so it perfectly lines up evenly on the peak. Now I can pull the line like this, but that's probably not gonna work, so I am gonna leave slack so I don't pull off one of the ones prior. So here I found the middle that I'm gonna hold on to, press that on, then do the next one, holding it in the middle. And then I can just add a little thing right here so that it holds those into place. Then when we do the rest, we can take these off, and now I can just unravel them as I go, and these will be in place. Or I can start from the top and go backwards. Probably gonna be the best thing to do, but then you can easily line them up by taking these on and off. Now that I'm at the end of the line, all I really need to do is cap this off, and then I would secure the cable right here. But I do have one more string of cable. So I think is what I actually want to do is I want to attach the cable here, and I have this spot where I could use 2 more lights to kind of illuminate this side of the home. I could get more and do another kit and keep going around the house if I wanted to. Again, up to 200 full feet of lights. I think no more than 230 feet with extensions and things like that. But so I want to add 2 lights here, and then I'm going to cut it and put on the splicer cap so that it ends right here and there's no more lights. So I'm going to attach the next line and then splice it and show you how to get this installed. Now before you make any splices, double check to make sure that your wiring is correct. Here I have it all set up, plugged in correctly, so I know it's good. If you're doing this before you put it up, double check to make sure it's plugged in the right direction, because you want this to be the right direction. So this is a cap, this is the end. If I wanted to, I would be able to extend this later, so that's what we're doing here. And this is the end of my line. Now when cutting, you could just cut in the middle. The good news is these have a little bit of wiggle room, so I would always leave some in case you ever want to use the extra light, but it doesn't matter too much here. I can just line it up where I want this to end. I kind of want to stuff this under there, so I could make a cut right here and I should be good. So hopefully we are ready to go. And other thing is make sure that you have unplugged the power before you do this. Hashtag not an electrician, but here we go. So there, I have made the cut, and now I'm going to take the 3 wires and pull them apart. And now over on this end, take off the cap without dropping anything. All right, I always forget, don't pull it apart yet. So then you're gonna slide on the cover here. Then we have this little contraption that we need to slide the wires into, and if they're all together, going to work a little bit easier. Used a key to pop this out, so now we're gonna see if that's easier. All right, now that we have that on, slide this piece on, slide it over, and we can kind of align that wherever we want. Now we're going to strip the ends and pop them into here. And a 1/2 inch is probably good. Twist those wires together, and then we're going to open this up. Now each wire has the color on the back of where it needs to go. So you kind of make it a line, and then you can slide all 3 in, or do one at a time. Once it's in, snap it closed. And then do a pull test, make sure none of them come out. Then you want to slide this piece in, the red ring over, and then this little piece hooks on to that piece so that when you are twisting this outside, it's not twisting the inside cables. So that works really well. That is done. Now there is that silicone to be able to glue in here, but I'm not going to put that in. And now we can just secure this, and we're done. Now the final step to the install is mounting the radar. So how this works is it's going to be able to see the entire front lawn. So if somebody walks up, it will automatically turn on the lights, which is cool. Now there are 2 orientations in which you can use this. First, we have the wall mounted orientation. So you can mount it on the wall just like this. And the little card that it came with, that can help you get the proper angle in which you need to mount it. So there we would mount it just like that. Now we can change the orientation around, and you need to do that because the sensor only works when it's level like this. And then we have the option to mount it from the eave or the ceiling right there. And again, we have an angle that we can use to do that. Now I just need to mount it, get it plugged in and connected through the app, which we've already done. And I'll show you how it can detect where we are in the front yard. And I like how it came with these little wire clips that you can then screw in for a permanent install. So we're gonna hide this cable the best we can. Let's check out the app. We're gonna head to the lights tab. We're gonna tap on our lights. In the settings, we're then gonna go to motion control. So here we have the motion sensor. It's showing online, but it's showing that our tilt is a little off. So it looks like my angle is not as good. Let me adjust that. All right, we're good. I just had to pull it up a little bit, and now we're at the 37. So then we have the option to change the sensitivity. So we can do high, middle, or low. So we're gonna keep it at middle right now. And then we have this awesome option to do follow glow. So when I turn this on, it's going to follow me as I walk by. Let's start the calibration. So now it's giving me this map where it shows where I am, and I need to find the furthest left side. So this is the full range. It's really cool. It knows where I am close or far and right to left. So here, as I'm getting to the end, I have reached the far left. Oh, and the lights have turned on. Now I'm going to choose which light I'm in front of on the wall. Now I'm gonna go to the far right. All right, so now it's asking me to walk back and forth to see if it's following me, and it's not quite following me. So I'm going to continue to precise calibration. All right, now for this step, I'm going to go in front of the light that's illuminated and tell it that I'm standing there. So this is about the far range. I'm here. May have to move around a little bit for it to find you. I'm here. I'm here. All right, and we are now finished. Great. Now we have our lights all illuminated. Don't they look great? Let's go ahead and choose a follow glow. So we're gonna do follow glow 1. And so you can see right where I'm standing, it is actually illuminating that area. And as I'm going, it's following me. This is crazy. So here I can go all the way down, and it's changing the colors where I am. This is pretty impressive. So right here, that's where it can't see me anymore. You can't see me either. Let's try going the other way. Wow, this is cool. And then right there is the range. So that's a pretty good range. I'd say that's, you know, about 40 feet wide that it can detect. So those are pretty cool. Let's take a look at how these look on the house. Okay, I've done my best to recreate what it looks like right now. Let's go ahead and turn the lights on. And would you look at that? It just illuminates the entire front yard. This looks great. Now this is at 100% brightness. If I want to turn that down, you know, a little softer light, we can go to 50% brightness. And if we just want a little bit of nice light, we can go all the way down to 1% brightness, leaving a little bit of glow on the house. Looks really good. Now let's go ahead and pop that back up to about 80% brightness here. Now looking at the app, there are a ton of different things that we can do. So first we have AI. So we have magic dice where we can simply tap a button and it will automatically create a custom scene for us that's unique to pushing that button. Now we even have the light show on, so here it's dancing. If we want to turn that off, we can do that where it's not going to be going through as many AI generated options. And then we have AI light chat. So let's say we want a first day of fall, and we can generate, and boom, we now have a new light that has been generated. Look, that looks so perfect for fall. Exactly what I wanted. How did it know? If we want to do something else, we say, Happy Halloween, Ghosts in the Graveyard. So here I have a Halloween prompt, so we can tap on that. It's then generating the scene, and now we have a brand new scene created without us having to do anything. Now right here, you do have the little save that's going to save that scene if you really like it. And you could also go in and customize what that scene does, adjusting speed as well as color. Now, if you want to just go in and choose scenes that are already preset, your favorites will show up right here, but we can go to daily. So this is where it's super easy to use. So if we just want a nice white, boom. One of the things I love about the colors on these is it's RGB WW. So it has the LEDs to have a warm white. Many of the other LEDs I'm seeing in the neighborhood don't have a nice warm white. It's really bright and harsh, where these have that perfect warm white. You can get that cool white if you like that as well. And then you also have the daylight white that you can choose, and you can go a little more warm with the glow. Then you also have strobe lights. Now these are going to be if somebody is detected by the radar in the middle of the night and you want to turn these on, you have those options. So if you don't want to see any strobing lights, skip this part. But here we have a white strobe. Then here we have a blue and white strobe. Here we have a red and blue strobe. And then here we have a red and blue strobe pattern. Whoa, that's pretty cool. So there you go. I'll turn that off, but that is really nice. Then you have the follow options. I've already showed you what those look like. So here you have a few different colors there. And with any of these, you can click the favorite on the star right there. It will favorite it, or we can go in and choose the colors that we want. So we have a ton of colors here at the top. So we can go through and easily select all those colors that we want. And we can save that. Super simple to do. Now here we have a ton of different holiday options. So you can do a New Year's theme. You can do a carnival theme. You can do Valentine's Day, President's Day, and all of these have different animations, but we don't have all the time in the world to watch these. When you get them, that's when you get to watch them. So here we have April Fool's Day, fun clown kind of look, St. Patrick's Day. You have Easter, you have Mother's Day, Father's Day, Flag Day, so a few different 4th of July or flag options. Let's go to Halloween, the next big season coming up here. So there we have a fun one, Halloween 2. These look really good. I'm loving how bright that purple is as it's moving along. Here we have Halloween 3. Then we have the Witch Cauldron. Ooh, that is looking really good. Now I'm loving how the lights are illuminating the entire home instead of just the edge right under the porch. This is looking really bright and vibrant. Then here we have the Phantom Land. I love how all those colors are perfect for Halloween. Then we have a Thanksgiving Day one, just nice subtle fall colors. So I probably would have added my fall colors for some Thanksgiving Day. Here we have Christmas Day. There you can see it starts with the green, adding a little red as it's moving around. And again, we can go into these, we can edit. If we want to speed that up, we can go in and see what that looks like by speeding it up and adjusting the colors if we want to. Here we have Christmas Day 2. So you have nice red and green and white, and the white is slowly glowing past. Christmas Day 3, Christmas tree. Here we have a candy cane. Ooh, I like that one. That's pretty fun. Nutcracker. Oh, it's like dancing like a sugar plum
fairies. Spiral Lollipop, Hanukkah, and Gathering. So a ton of different options, and that's just what's already set there. So here we have nature. There's stuff for every season. Ooh, let's try this candlelight. This is a new one. Oh, they're kind of flickering. That's pretty fun. Solar Serenity. All right, we're not gonna go through every single one of these, but you can see there are a ton of options. Here we have all kinds of different moods. Let's see what happy is. Bright and fun colors. Here we have Aurora Mirage. Oh, just pretend like this is the Aurora Borealis. I love that. Then here we have the Fireplace Warmth. So, ooh, this is a new effect, starting from both sides coming into the center. I'm feeling that warmth. Then here we have Culture, so all kinds of different things that you might want. Really want to try out this. Fireworks, dancing here a little bit. Golf, rugby, you know, just whatever you want. All kinds of different countries there as well. So great to have so many things in here. Then here under personal, if we want to create our own effect, we can do that. So local sports team wanted to create a white and blue there, but let's say you have another sports team. So we are going to create a new favorite, and all I want to do is go to the color I want to use. So we're going to choose a yellow, and then I'm going to go through and tap every other light, just like this. And if you mess up, that's okay. I'll show you how we're going to fix that. So here I believe I have 63 lights that I use total, so it doesn't take too long. Then we're going to choose a nice green. And you can see I can just tap over and it will replace the one before. So this is going to test your tapping on the phone skills. Ah, missed one. So now I'm going to go back to yellow. All right, we got that. That looks pretty good. Then down here at the bottom, we have different effects. So we can just keep it the same. We can do these flowing effects. So if you have multiple colors or more than 2 colors, those work pretty well. But now I have this. I want to save this effect. Go Ducks, of course. And now we have our new effect. You can see there's 3 lights there because I chose a little bit different yellow, but that's okay. So we can quickly jump back and forth between our favorite teams throughout the night. Whoever's winning is really great. So then if we wanted to just choose all one color, we can clear it. We can choose one color, select all, boom, all one color, super simple. Down here we have the option to change to white. So if you want to have them all be white, if you only want a few to be white, we can go ahead and set like the outside lights. We can choose a few, you know, maybe the corners of our house that we want illuminated as for some security lights. So you can play with that, find out exactly which lights you want, and then we can again go up and save that. So you can see how simple this app is. And last, you have the option to play some music and it will then dance to the music. So we can choose our colors here. There we go. Then down here we have some different options. All right, and so you can really do a lot of fun things with this. You know, play music from your phone, it will then jam to it. If you're a little closer, it looks like that will work better on the music flow option. But as you can see, there are a ton of different features built right in, all available. And I didn't even mention, but one thing I love is how the little house on the screen looks just like the house that I put together with the lights. So they match together so you can see exactly what your house is going to look like with that little image. And then when you're done, you can just simply turn off the lights. All right, now the big question is, does placement of the lights matter? So I actually have 2 sets of lights on this house. The first is the eufy E120 I installed 2 years ago, and then the new permanent lights S4. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first lights. These are the E120, and these are all the way out on the eaves of the house, so the very edge. Now you can see that over the garage, it's pretty illuminated, but under the porch, you don't see as much. And then there on the left side, it's a little more illuminated. So let's go ahead. If we turn those off and we turn on the S4, now these are where I put them just 10 centimeters away from the wall, and you can just see how the entire house is illuminated. Now you don't see the lights on the edge of the porch from further back. Now closer up with the bottom shot here, you do see those lights a little bit more, but I guess this is all just kind of personal preference where you have the lights. So here we could have them both on at the same time, turn down the brightness a little bit. So we can have both of them go and we have some really cool lights at the same time, but also the spacing is a little more on the S4. You have a lot more light as the lights here are on. So pretty cool. Let's go into some colors. So here is the cool white on the E120, and here is the cool white on the S4. Now these are both at 100% brightness. And here is the pure white on the E120. And here that is on the S4. So you can just see quite the improvement in light as these go from 1500 Kelvin to 9000 Kelvin. So a ton of range there in the different colors that are available. And here we have the Halloween 3 on the E120 and on the S4. And it looks like the old lights don't have quite as many options. So here you can see a little bit more in the colors that are available. Let's do one more. And here is Christmas Day with the red and green. And then here it is on the S4. So I definitely say the colors have also improved. They are very nice and vibrant. So after doing quite a few of these installs, I definitely say I like seeing the entire house lit up, but it is nice to have the classic look of the lights outside on the edge. This way it just gives you the most full effect. Now I could have even gone a little bit closer to the wall at the 5 centimeters, and that would have illuminated the top just a little bit more, but that does give a little cone shape on each light, where this has a little bit more round chamfer. So just another personal preference there. Now, if you do have multiple sets of lights, you can easily create a group. So here in the settings of the Lights S4, we're going to add to light group. And here it's showing the other outdoor lights that we have. We can name the group. So you can call it Full House, whatever you want. Tap Save. And now we have the group lights. So we can come in here and then we can easily change the lights on both sets at the same time. So here it's saying a light set is off. We can tap confirm and then it's going to turn that on. And now both lights are set to the same scene. So we can adjust the brightness here. We can turn them on and off. And then here are the scenes that are compatible with both sets. So again, we still have a ton of scenes, and then we even have the daily light options. Now that we have both lights set on the same group, we can turn them on and instantly they turn on. Now typically it's not going to be just two lights at the same. You'd have one on one side of your house and one on the other, but they would work together. So here, if I change the scene, let's go ahead and do like St. Patrick's Day. Here you can see it all blends together. Everything looks great. And I could even do a Halloween one. So there you can see both of the lights interacting very similar in the scenes, but they are not like perfectly aligned or anything. That's just because, again, my lights are not exactly the way that you would do it. Then here we have a Christmas one. And so both changing the same time. I have a few of the daily light options here. I can do the cool white. And then I also have the option to create the schedule and adjust the brightness, and they both work together. So it's nice that I have that option to control multiple light sets. With the new set going up to 200 feet, maybe you don't need that, but in the event you do, you can do it. There are a few other settings I want to highlight in the app. So one of the things is we had a light right here that was a little too bright this way. So you can actually go into the light manager and you can disable specific lights. So I just had to find the light I want to disable, tap save, and then there it turns off a light. So I didn't need that one turned off, so I'm going to turn that back on and tap save, and then it automatically shows up under the selector that you've turned off that light. So if you have one in a weird space, I can go in and turn those off so it doesn't make it look different. So I actually want to go in here and I want to turn off one more light. We're going to turn off number 1, and boom, that just kind of made everything look a little bit nicer over there. Now, next we have the option to create a schedule. So this is so cool. You have tons of options here. So we can go in and we can do the daily lighting. So that would automatically turn on, or we can just have it be motion activated. So when the sensor is triggered, it can then turn on. We can have it every day. We can set the time of day. So in the evening till the morning, we have the range. So if they come right up to the porch, we can do that, and you can set specific little areas in which you would want that to be impacted. Looks like a little angel. So there we could have that area detected, and then we can choose the distance for the camera to sense the motion. So you can do normal, you can do advanced. Really cool that there are so many different options here. And then we can go down, you have all of this option for detection settings. So here it is showing the effect is caused by the radar. And then here you can choose what lighting effect you want to have. So you can choose any of your lighting methods there, and then you can set the brightness. So maybe we want this to go to 50%. We're going to tap save. We can create a name, and we're just going to call this evening lights. And those have been saved. So I just got home from work and the lights automatically illuminate as soon as I come to the door. I can see that everything is looking good. A nice warm welcome for me to come home. Honey, I'm home. And then after I go inside for 10 seconds, they then automatically turn off. If I come outside, then here, once I get in the range, it then turns back on so I can see all the toys in my way. Now on the radar, it does have a light that's flashing where it's on sometimes. So you can come in here and you can turn off the LED light, which is really nice. So the Discover tab is ones that you can create, and Customize is ones that you have already created that you can easily turn on and off. So we're going to go back to Discover. Here we have all the strobe light settings that we can adjust for motion. We'll go to those in a minute, but one thing I love is how it already has all the different holidays set up. So let's say we want to go down here and do a Halloween one because that's coming up soon. So we're going to do the always on, and here we can set it where from the 1st of October, it's automatically going to do the Halloween scene. So I don't even have to do anything, but from October 1st to October 31st, it's now going to run that scene. Super simple, easy to do. We can do time of day. So you set this up for every month or whatever, and it automatically adjusts the lights so you don't have to change them. It automatically does it. Makes it super user-friendly to do without me having to interact with it daily. So now that we have that set, we can come over here to Customize, and there the Halloween schedule has been set. So now let's turn on the radar. So if somebody comes to the door in the middle of the night, then it is going to alert them with the red and blue light. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did before with the daily lighting, the auto off delay. So this is automatically going to turn off after a certain amount of time. So depending on if you want to see where you're going for longer, you would want to adjust that. But now that we have this on, let's see what the intruders are going to do. All right, I saw cake on the porch. So I'm going to run and grab it. You run that way, I'll run the other way. Let's go. All right, that almost worked a little too good, so I've increased the detection sensitivity to wait 3 seconds so the lights come on when I'm a little closer to the door. Let's go. There it is. Okay, this is to detect the range. I have it set to the 12 meters maximum, so I'm just walking along on the sidewalk, and there it was able to turn on. So that can see quite a far distance. All right, I changed it so it's kind of only going to get the driveway and the walkway. So if I'm walking past, it doesn't see me. The last one was actually set at 12 meters. So here, if I start walking up the driveway, okay, oh, that's pretty good. Let's say I want to go onto the walkway here. Hey, that's nice. Cool.
Now, after spending some time with the eufy Permanent Lights S4, these are an awesome upgrade to the eufy lighting system. Now, I love how these look on the house. We already had neighbors complimenting as they were driving by that they looked so good. So I love how it's much more brighter on the home, especially around the porch area. It just makes this nice that we can come out and hang out here without it being too dark. And then I just love the new colors and the range of white that has been added. Each LED bulb now has so much brightness to it that you have way more luminance around the home from whatever white color you're doing, as well as the colors are looking way more defined. The red, the greens, the blues, the purples, all those look really, really good. Now, the addition of the radar is so fun. Being able to have it automatically turn on the warm lights as you come up to the door, whatever time you want, is really, really nice. Now, you could have a porch that has some tricky stairs where this is able to illuminate it so everyone is able to see what's happening without getting worried. Maybe the kids, you want to make sure that they can see where they're going. It's just really nice to have the home illuminated, and adding that extra security feature where you can have it be different strobe lights. You can even have it just turn on a holiday scene when the radar detects somebody. And the radar is very advanced. It's crazy how many options you have with range and location of where it detects somebody, and it actually turns on those lights. Now, one other feature I wasn't able to show, but you can actually integrate this with other eufy cameras, where if the camera detects somebody, it then is able to turn on the light. So much integration you have all within this product. Now, if you want to check this out, make sure you check out the link down in the description below. These were super easy to get set up and they look great. And again, you can go from 100 feet to 150 feet to 200 feet. So really illuminating your home. And then in the app, there is a way, if you need multiple sets, you could pair them together so they're running the same scene at the same time if you do need more than that. So if you have any further questions, let me know down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.